What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're reacting to Game Theory, The Lore of Roblox Forsaken solved. Now, I'm not too familiar with this bit, like, at all, so, fair warning there. All I know is that it's a Roblox game. Heard it's been a bit popular here and there, and that's really it. That's actually all I got when it comes to this one game. Nothing too big, nothing too small when it comes to information. I just know that it's just popular, and that's really it. So, I guess we're gonna find out what's the deal here in a bit. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when the video comes out. And yeah, if there's any videos I'd like to recommend, comment section below, and I'll react to it as soon as possible. And the link to this video is going to be down in the description below. So be sure to check out the original video when you can, and be sure to give Game Theory some love and support for the video they made. I probably said the same word twice without me knowing. I have a feeling I did. It's like weird if I really think about it. But back into the main point. Let's see what this is all about, because my interest is a bit
One of these characters is the key to all the lore inside Roblox Forsaken. It could be you. Oh, no, you're dead. So I guess that means it's you. Oh, you're dead too. What about you? Quickly, start the episode so we don't lose the actual answer. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that isn't rolling in Robux, but it is rolling in lore. And we got another big one here for you today, folks. After our video on the Roblox game Dandy's World, our subreddit was flooded with other Roblox game suggestions that I should take a look at. And so, after several hours of filtering through all of your suggestions, which I'm actually really thankful for, by the way, there was one game that kept coming up again and again, and it definitely piqued my interest. Forsaken. Forsaken is a multiplayer survival game, and it is a smorgasbord of who's who in Roblox history. On the killer side, you have both real Roblox hackers like Cool Kid and rumored hackers like John Doe and 1x1x1x1. And on the survivors team, you've got guys like Builderman, who is actually David Baszucki, the creator of Roblox. You have Shadletsky, a well-known Roblox admin, and Elliot, who is the mascot for a Roblox game Work at the Pizza Place, one of the first and most popular Roblox games. The survivors' goal is to run around the map avoiding the killer until time runs out. And the killer's goal, well, you could probably figure out what their goal is. As a survivor, you can take time off the clock by playing little mini games that at first look like simple mobile games, but believe me, when you're under the pressure of trying to finish it before a killer comes and gets you, it's a whole other kettle of fish. Try it for yourselves. This goes here, this goes here. Just one more puzzle piece and we can get out of here. Quick, click the subscribe button before the creepy, ugly killer gets us. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Nice work! Now we've just got to run! But with all of that said, I'm sure many of you are seeing this and making connections between Forsaken and another very popular multiplayer survival game. One where an entity pulls in known serial killers from other horror franchises and sends them in to kill the survivors. Dead by Daylight. You might even be arguing that it's a complete...
I mean, if no one's gonna say it, then yeah, it does sound like it's very similar to that. Not gonna lie. It really does sound like it. Like, a lot.
Rip-off. If you did, you'd be missing the most interesting part. In the lobby area, if you talk to one of the NPCs about what game you'd like to play, you can choose the answer, Work at the Pizza Place. And when you do, he brings up this error message. Error code D8. Which seems odd, but I guess that's just what happens when you bother an NPC enough times. However, the more I looked around, the more I realized that this wasn't just a copycat Roblox game. This was an ARG. And it not only spans this this game, but a bunch of Roblox profiles, secret games, and other games that at first don't even seem connected. Oh, Dress to Impress would be so proud. And all of this is to tell us a story about what happens when a person pursues power over everything else. Grab a slice of Elliot's Pizza Theorists, because we're gonna need all the help we can get solving the law of Forsaken. As I've mentioned, all of this starts with the weird error code from one of the NPCs in the lobby. But that isn't the only weird detail in this lobby. In the upper room of the cabin, there is a TV. Clicking on it will reveal the message, "Your TV has shut down unexpectedly. Error code A2, forced shutdown." Why is an old school TV giving me a shutdown message? This is something you would get from a computer. If a TV like this shut down unexpectedly, it would just shut down, which tells us it's important. And would you take a look at that code it's given us? A2. It's a similar format to our previous code of D8. Something puzzling this way comes, methinks. So let's keep searching. Except there doesn't really appear to be any other codes in the lobby. The only other thing I can see is this photo of the number 4 in one of the other cabins. Feels like a weird, possibly important detail, especially with the NPC standing over it claiming to be investigating it, but it doesn't fit our letter and number format. And outside of that, there just doesn't seem to be any other codes written down. Wait, that lantern, the one that's flickering in the distance, is that flickering just to fit the horror aesthetic? Or is it Morse code? Dash dot dash dot dot dash dash dash.
I'm gonna give it to him. I didn't even realize that. Like, Morse code goes way over my head. Like, a lot. So, I wouldn't have been able to figure that bit out. Kudos to you, though, man. Kudos to you.
Dash. Write that down, write that down! That translates to C1, just like all the other codes we've found. Okay, we have 3, maybe 4 codes. Now what? Well, fortunately, there is a tape recorder next to the lantern that has a very important message for us. Escape this realm and take to heart the things you've learned from every part. In a club unknown, where secrets are sown, recite your tale in the depths alone. So, we need to take these codes and leave this realm. But you can't leave the lobby. There's no other room to go to. Unless escaping this realm means leaving Forsaken entirely. In which case, we need to figure out where exactly we go next, and what it means by a club unknown. Taking a page out of another Roblox ARG we've covered on this channel, Dress to Impress, let's check out the creators of Forsaken and see if they have any other games under their belts. One of the devs is called Soul Driven Love, and lo and behold, they've made another game called Buckshot Frenzy. Basically, a Roblox version of Buckshot Roulette. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. Regardless, we've actually talked about Buckshot Roulette on this channel before too, and it takes place.
Now I remember why that name sounded so familiar. Okay, I remember now. I was wondering why that game sounded familiar, and I now remember. It is the whole case scenario involving you go to a nightclub, you're playing this game of, well, I guess it's better to say it's a more brutal version of Russian roulette. And yeah, that is like the best way to even go about saying that. And let's leave it there. Let's just say it's a more brutal version, and you're not aiming it at a regular method. You're doing it in a weird, sick, twisted way. Yep. That is like the best way to explain that whole situation right there. Not gonna lie, best explanation I can come up with at the top of my head. And I think that was like poor explanation. That was a poor explanation.
In a nightclub, with the description of this game matching that, saying, "Step into the shadowy depths of a club non-liable." This is almost certainly the club unknown referred to by the tape recorder. And when we jump into the game, our suspicions are met with confirmation. On the wall are a set of paintings in a 2x2 grid with faint writing of the letters C, A, D, and question mark. just like the codes we found in Forsaken. C1, A2, and D8. That question mark may even be where the 4 painting we saw comes in. It didn't seem to fit with the format, but it's the only other code we've got, so we might as well try. If you click on each painting the corresponding amount of times to their number, click A2 times, C1 times, D8 times, and the question mark painting 4 times, nothing happens. Until I clicked the small plaque underneath the paintings, and doing that revealed a secret path. Secret tunnel! Secret tunnel! At the end of the hallway is a door, and when we knock, we get a message. A really, really long message. I imagine it's important though, so I am gonna read all of it. But editor, we should probably crank up the speed a bit to get through it all in good time. Thank you. How did you get here? Are the rumors really true? You're treading on treacherous ground by digging this deep. It is not my place to judge your choices. My purpose is to simply help you find what you seek, no matter how foolish that may be. I am but a fractured soul, one who dared to stray too close to the sun and paid the price. Still, in my foolishness, I uncovered something it never wanted me to see, something that forced it to put me in this unique kind of eternal hell. I would give that something to you so that you could have a chance of ending this madness. As expected, it took back what saw. Yes, as it pulled me into this prison, I caught a glimpse of how it warped the world around it, altering the very fabric of reality. It is not just the environment it changes, but also you. Every step you take brings you closer to its influence, and yet in that influence there may lie an opportunity. If you can withstand its pressure long enough, even just for 5 minutes, then you may find the clues it leaves behind, pieces of itself that it cannot hide. But know this, you must not hesitate when you find its trail. Follow it with purpose, but be wary of the distortions it creates. They are not what they seem, and they exist to break you. If you survive, then you will have done something I could not. But if you fail, well, let us hope that no one else is foolish enough to try again. Good luck, traveler. Good luck and goodbye. Whew. Boy, that's a lot to take in. It seems that we are being warned about the dangers of investigating the mysteries of Forsaken.
That was
the person who was
fast.
speaking to us did the same, but when they uncovered something...
No, seriously, that was fast. That made me blink in astonishment. I don't know if that was natural speed or... No, it was probably headed. But still, it's a bit, off-putting. Sure, let's go with that. Let's go with that, off-putting.
It trapped them. So far, we have no clue what this it is, but as this game is basically Dead by Daylight, I would say it's an entity that is in control of these games. The one that brought us into the Forsaken games to torture us. We're also being told to try and withstand its pressure for 5 minutes. So I hop back into Forsaken and wait 5 minutes and nothing happens. Great. Now what am I supposed to do? I mean, I do have a bunch of other scripts I could get on with. I'm sure that would make Justin happy. I guess I'll just leave this running and see if anything changes. Well, would you look at that? Guess I needed to be tabbed out to see these messages. That's clever. Right, let's see what they say. You aren't alone here. Leaving is not an option. You can't escape me. A piece for the puzzle awaits you. That last one with all the words put together with no spaces, that doesn't look like a phrase. It looks like a Roblox user ID, just like we saw in Dress to Impress. And if we search that exact phrase in Roblox, we do indeed find an account with that username. A piece for the puzzle. Although apparently their actual name is Julius Caesar, though that isn't even the weirdest. His about section is just nothing but random letters. Random letters if you're not a theorist. This is our good old friend Base64, and it translates to, this video is sponsored by Raccoon Logic? Oh duh, they've got a new game.
Oh. No, not, okay. Bam. Okay, I think we're at the part that goes over that bit. That was a clever thing. I'm not gonna lie. He really got me there. So let's get on to the actual sting. Though I have to admit, the clues they are using, it's actually really clever. Like, it's something I don't think anyone could ever think of. And yeah, it's a really clever thing for them to do.
Get the game for yourselves. Thanks again to Raccoon Logic for sponsoring this video, but now I should probably figure out what that code really means. It will not be easy to make me into your key, but it will be alright. You can do it. Make him into a key? Well, he is wearing a giant key on his shirt, so that's gotta be what he's referring to. Clicking on the clothing item to get some more information gives us yet another jumble of letters. Sadly, Base64 didn't work for us this time. But remember when I said he was called Julius Caesar? Well, if we want to make him the key, then it's most likely a Caesar cipher. And boom! By shifting the letters over 12 times, we get this. His name was David. He was far too young to be sentenced to such a painful eternity, but it did not care. It only wanted more power. This basically confirms that the It is absolutely the entity running this game, similar to the entity from Dead by Daylight, taking people and bringing them into Forsaken to torture them for eternity. But with that piece of the puzzle solved, we should probably take a closer look around the page to see if there's anything more. His friend list, for example, looks suspiciously interesting. He has just one friend. Big mood on that one. But that one person is called Not a Piece to the Puzzle, aka Do Not Listen to Me. His About section talks about Julius Caesar. Not the character we've talked about, but the real historical figure, and how he used to deceive people. They tell us that relying on Julius Caesar may be fruitful, but we should not trust him. Only use him to reach our goals. Maybe this isn't just about the historical figure. Maybe this is a warning that the Julius Caesar character in this ARG isn't trustworthy, and that we should be careful going forward. This account page also has a game of its own called A Piece to the Puzzle's Place. You can try playing this game, but it starts with the question, what is its name? Let me try my name. No. What about Julius? No. David? No. My guess is it is the entity, but we don't have an answer for that, and I'm not entirely sure where to find it. Wait a minute. The title of this game is A Piece to the Puzzle. The account that made it is called Not A Piece to the Puzzle. Does that mean that A Piece to the Puzzle is another account? Let's just have a look. Bingo! Maybe we can find some answers here. There is a long story in this account's bio talking about him falling into depression and what happens when this game's entity drags you into Forsaken. But the main clue is at the bottom, where we can find yet another code. When shifted by 12, it says numbers to user ID is how you get your key. Okay, maybe we put the user IDs into the game. Nope, that didn't work either. So this is likely a key to something else that we're gonna need to search for next. Down in this guy's favorite section is a private game called A Message. We can't play the game because, well, it's private, but it does have another detailed description, and given this is an ARG, that is obviously way more fun. It continues the story from the About section, how the entity put this person through, quote, the games of hell. They mention a guy in a hockey mask killing them, and that they caught a break in a beachside forest. Clearly, Jason in Forsaken and the beachside forest in the lobby. Whoever this guy is, he's trying to tell us about this world, how they got in, and maybe how they can help us and everyone else trapped here get out. But looky here, at the bottom of the message there are some numbers. Numbers for a user ID, 7749074101, or as they're actually known, Friday_TQIMEFKXQD. And this is where the story of our trapped friend comes to an end. They grew numb to the torment, and so the entity tore this person apart. It was then that they began to study this entity, naming it the Spectre. So we now have our name for the entity, and we also got something else. You may have noticed the account name. It's a little odd, right? I mean, maybe the user just wanted the account name Friday, and Roblox was like, Friday has already been taken. May I suggest Friday_TQIMEFKXQD? But what's more likely is those jumbled up letters are just another cipher. So going back to our trusty Caesar cipher and shifting the letters by 14, we get the phrase, he was Tyler, the name of the person that was dragged down into Forsaken, tortured, and then ceased to exist was Tyler. And based on what we left at the bottom, Tyler has been here for 200.
I really like how they're going with the cipher thing. It's an interesting method on how to do things here. And I really admire the work they've done for this. It's really clever. It's really something to make you really think about it. I kind of like these kind of stuff because, I don't know, it brings a challenge. Yeah. Oh.
100 years. With all this new information, I have a feeling we can now answer the questions in A Piece to the Puzzle's Place. What is its name? We now know it's Spectre. And upon answering that, we get some more questions about the Spectre. The next question is, what is it made of? And we don't really have an answer for this, but I do not have the energy to go on another scavenger hunt, so instead, let's turn to the thing I always do in times of need during an ARG. The community that is so smart, they figured it out already. All the links will be be in the description. These guys figured out that the answer is the word code, which I guess makes sense. The Spectre is part of a Roblox game and so is code. Plus, the killers of this game, besides Jason, are all Roblox hackers. And what the hackers work in? Code. The next question is, what does it seek? Which we know from Julius Caesar's account is power. Next are a bunch of questions about Tyler. Who was he? What did he call the trials? How long has he been here? Again, all stuff we learnt about during our adventures. His name was Tyler, they were games of hell, and he was there for 200 years. But then we get asked some personal questions, like, do we feel safe? Do we know what we're getting ourselves into? And the final question, will we keep searching, even though it's foolish? Being the theorists that we are, naturally the answer is yes. And that gives us one more code. Although this time, we're actually given a hint as to how we're supposed to solve it. Numbers lead where letters stray. A shifting cipher guides the way. A sibling to Caesar, clear yet sly. What is my name? Give it a try. A sibling to Caesar. So a cipher that works similarly to a Caesar cipher. A Caesar cipher is just a shift in letters, so we need another cipher that shifts letters. A Vigenère cipher is similar in how a keyword can be used to tell the cipher how to shift, but that would require a key word. It asks us what is his name, so we can put not a piece to the puzzle, but that comes up empty. And then there's numbers lead where letters stray. Does that mean the key isn't a word, but a number? That would mean it's not a Vigenère cipher, it's a Gronsfeld cipher. Wait, remember that other clue we got? Numbers to user ID is how you get your key? We didn't need the name of not a piece to the puzzle, the person who made the quiz. We needed his ID number, and that would make the key. Gotta say, nice job. Love it when all the pieces come together like that. So we put not a piece to the puzzle's ID number as the key to the Gronsfeld cipher, and we're in. Wash your hands on the second floor. Blue means 1, red means 2, brighter shades increase the value by 2. How incredibly vague and cryptic. Not exactly sure what I was expecting at this point, but still. There's also no obvious place to wash your hands in Forsaken.
I don't know if you read your Bible, but I'm afraid it's damnation without relief.
But there was somewhere else we visited that does have sinks. Buckshot Frenzy. If you die in one of the games, you wake up in the bathrooms of that floor. So die on level 2, go to wash your hands, and on each sink, the tap will have hot and cold circles on them. The code we have was that blue means 1 and red means 2. Some of them have lighter shades of blue or red, which means we increase the value to 3 or 4, which gives us the final code of 14321232. So what do we do with this? Well, if we backtrack through our journey a bit, we can see that a piece of the puzzle wasn't the only person with a game. Julius Caesar also has a game creatively titled A Piece for the Puzzle's Place. Just like the previous quote-unquote game, we are met with a text box that asks us to enter a code. The code we just got from the Buckshot sinks. Entering that code lets us play 2 files. One is just the victory music from Forsaken, and the other is a message called congratulations.ogg.
Hey, if you're hearing this, then good job. This is kind of where the trail ends for now. Maybe come back in a few months, maybe like February.
So I guess here is where the Forsaken ARG ends. For now, at least. Although it is April and there is still no update. Knowing my luck, the update will drop right as this video does. However, just because the ARG is done doesn't mean that I am. There's still one thing I have yet to decode. After our quiz, we got that long code that we decoded with the Gronsfeld cipher. But there was a separate code at the end that the Gronsfeld cipher couldn't translate. It does translate though when you put it through a standard Caesar cipher. He was Elliot. With he was Tyler being the code given at the end of Tyler's long story, and with this coming at the end of the quiz, that would imply that Elliot is the one questioning us with this quiz. But Elliot isn't just any old name. It's the name of one of the survivors you can play as. I would be surprised if the devs used this name twice. It would just make things really confusing, which means the survivor Elliot is somehow involved in this wider story. And I think I know how, because this quiz isn't actually the first time we've spoken to him. At the beginning of this ARG, we had a very long message of how someone became trapped after being foolish and getting too close. They use the word foolish again near the end of the speech, hoping that no one else will look deeper into the entity. And what do we see in this quiz? The one we believe to be Elliot speaking to us? The last question asks, will you continue searching even though you know how foolish that is. It's the same language. Elliot warned us about going down this path of trying to discover the entity, and at multiple points is warning us about how foolish it is. But he also gave us one other warning. During his massive monologue, he references a Greek myth. I guess that's just part of the new indie horror checklist these days. Specifically, he talks about flying too close to the sun, which is a reference to Icarus doing the same thing with his wax wings. But he also talks about being locked away by the entity in a unique kind of hell for stealing something. That reminded me of another Greek myth, a myth about a god who betrayed Zeus during the war against the Titans, and as a result, they were stripped of their wings and sent to Tartarus, the underworld where the god's enemies were tortured. That god's name was Ark, and they were a messenger god, just like Elliot is delivering messages to us to help guide us against the godlike being of this world, the Spectre, now locked away in a torturous type of hell. However, in that story there are actually two messenger gods, Ark and their sibling, Iris. Iris remains sided with the gods, and actually has a plant named after them, Siberian Iris, which has a suspicious nickname, Brother of Caesar, Caesar's sibling, just like we were shown in the ARG. If Elliot is the one who went against the god of this world, the Spectre, then whoever is playing the role of Iris, they are still sided with the godlike being Spectre. And we actually have a second messenger in our game, a second person giving us info that claims to be on the side of good, Tyler. We have been trusting Tyler and using his information to get closer to solving this ARG, but I suspect he may not be what he seems. So, when the ARG returns, be careful how much you listen to him, because if I'm right, he's gonna keep sending us down this rabbit hole until we, like him, are going to be stuck in a constant cycle of torture. Or the ARG will never update and I'll be stuck in a different cycle of torture, not getting any more lore, and that is arguably much worse. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching. World premiere on Game Theory.
So, basically, from what I'm understanding, this one was a bit over my head, and I'm not too familiar on the matter, so I didn't really put that much opinion into this one, because some of it went over my head, some of it didn't, and so on and so forth, basically. But from my understanding of this, it seems like overall, basically, the deeper you try to solve this mystery, the more vulnerable it leads you to this entity. And once it's all over, the entity can get you. That is the biggest thing that comes to mind when hearing this. I might be wrong. I definitely might be wrong. But it does lead to that probability. Who's to say, really? Though I really do think that is the case here. Because the way it's been phrased, how I've been listening to it, it sounds like this is the case here. That the more you get into this rabbit hole, the more of a chance this entity will get you. Yeah, that seems like the basic summary of this whole thing. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button, be notified immediately when your video comes out. And yeah. With all this said, again, hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.